I don't understand. This is not what we voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. No, how can he do this? I've supported him through thick and thin. We told you. No, he promised to only deport the dangerous Latinos, not the good ones. Oh, you dumb fucking bitch. Why are you being so mean? I'm being mean? We have to fight this together. Oh, now you want to fight together? I didn't think it was going to turn out this way. Haven't you been listening to all his speeches since 2016? No, this is not the Trump I voted for. He's exactly who you voted for. All we want is a better economy. That's all we want. We love this country. Oh God, I can't believe this. My parents were Cuban refugees. And you still voted for him. They came here for a better and safer life. Like every refugee, but that didn't stop you from founding Latinas for Trump, which is like the dumbest thing. It's like cockroaches for raid. You lack empathy, and you are dumb.
I see them down in my comment section and in the comment sections of other content creators talking about we all need to come together. All marginalized groups need to come together. Black and brown people need to come together. The time to come together was on November 5th when it counted. We didn't have to shed blood. We didn't have to fight. We didn't have to sweat. We didn't have to shed tears. All we needed to do was walk into the voting booth and vote accordingly against Donald Trump and for Kamala Harris. And all black and brown people didn't do that. All marginalized communities didn't do that. But now you want people to shed blood, to exert crazy amounts of energy, to put themselves in danger to come together now because you're in the hot seat. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to put myself in danger. I don't want my son to put himself in danger. I don't have the strength. I don't have the energy. Yeah, I don't want to do that. And I'm seeing all of these Latinas and Latinos using their platforms finally to try to chastise other people who aren't running out into them streets. I want you to understand, on November 5th, the 92% and the 80%, we stood 10 toes down with you. We stood with you. The problem is, and the reason why we're here today is because...
Hello brothers and sisters, in today's video we are demystifying how usually other communities use black people for their benefits. Black people in short terms are only important when it's beneficial to them. Like they have when black people are important to them and when black people are not important to them. This shows you, for example, this perfect case scenario where we are having people from the Hispanic community always calling for unity so that people can protest together. I know the ICE raids, the anti-ICE raids protests that are going on today in LA, people are going out there, and we have people, because we've been seeing this happening, we are seeing people that are trying to play with black people because black people, I'll say they have like something called the golden voice. The golden voice is a voice of reckoning, a voice that normally when they start advocating for something, when they start talking about their grievances, people get to hear what they want. And now this is what I want to discuss with you. Now, throughout the history, marginalized groups in the United States and elsewhere have often found themselves at the intersection of exploitation and solidarity. And this is a recurring dynamic which is so strategic because the black innovation and unity and activism by other ethnic or racial groups during times of crisis. For example, when Latins, the Latino community, for instance, call upon black people to stand in solidarity during protest or political movements, this request frequently emerges from a position of urgency. Now, when the Latins community is under fire or facing systemic pressure, While this might appear as an appeal to inter-ethnic unity, it often reveals a deeper pattern. And what's the pattern? Black people are expected to lend their political muscle and moral authority to movements that seldom reciprocate support for black struggles. This transactional nature of solidarity becomes problematic when unity is only sought to benefit others, while the historical and ongoing suffering of black communities remains unaddressed or ignored. Because for the longest time, the world was really quiet when black folks were going through what they were going through. But today we are seeing people emerging, people trying to call black people to help them with this. So definitely, this shows you a perfect example of the relationship that the black community is having with these other people. But at the end of the day, there are other factors to consider. We are seeing people from the Latino community going through this, but my commentary on this video didn't want to go on the political take, but I just wanted to share with you how I really feel about why are we always seeing other communities trying to use black folks for their own benefit. Black people are only important only when it benefits them. Buckle up for this video. I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories. Well, I'm hoping that you are doing super great from wherever you're watching me from. For those who are watching us for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to the channel, join our membership, and really get so we can offer you. For those who are always supporting me through my Cash App account, for those who are sending me super thanks, man, I'm really grateful for the support that you're giving and making this channel grow. So with that being said, I want to switch this video and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my 2-3 cents about this, because at the end of the day, it's all about learning, relearning, educating, and most importantly, gaining knowledge at the end of the day. So let's get into it. I'll be back.
Because you didn't stand with us. All black and brown people didn't do that. All marginalized communities didn't.
No. Don't do it. Don't do it yet again. How many people have we stood with and helped them fight for all of our freedom? And in the end, they end up way in the front of the line, and we're still at the end with them telling us, oh, it's coming. It just takes time. Don't do it, or you will end up being me at 72, sitting some fucking where, wondering how much longer? Wondering what if we had chosen differently? One of the last arguments I had with my mother before she passed, I told her that they chose wrong. Martin, cute. But Malcolm would have been much more effective. Keep your ass home.
I just got out of my bed because I had to say enough. I am tired of y'all sitting here trying to create a narrative that the 92% is nothing but buying into the xenophobic Christian nationalist pipeline right now and trying to guilt trip us into believing that we are the party that is wrong because we are not physically putting our bodies out there to assist the Latinx community, the Muslim community, or anybody else in the motherfuckers out there, the POC communities, in the deportation raids and all the harm that's happening to them. I'm tired of y'all, because if black people did not go out there and vote, you would have told us it was our fault and our ancestors died and put themselves on the line to give us these rights to make some level of change and political change for not just ourselves but for the country itself, and we didn't do our due diligence. But black people came out and turned out and did what they needed to do. There were black people we have in our family members that never even voted before because they don't even believe that the process is real, and they turned out to make sure that this man did not get in office. Not only did we put our communities on the forefront in our thought process, we put everybody's health and safety on the front line. Xenophobia was not the display based off of the political decisions of the 92%. And I know you keep talking about black women because nobody else turned out a 92% besides black women. You are not going to constantly place the blame and the guilt on the shoulders of fucking black women in this goddamn country. You are not going to consistently call us fucking ghetto, ratchet, uneducated, and disgusting and undesirable and think that I'm going to put on my fucking pressed-on nails and hold a sign up and play security guard for a group of people that did not give a fuck about what my people had to say. You are not going to convince us that we were wrong for just voting regardless, because every goddamn institution is the same and they're both buddies and they play on the golf course. And we specifically told you that the revolution that you had in mind was not well thought out. It was not strategic and you still needed help. You decided to not listen to a group of people that had resistance and strategy and revolutions in their fucking blood, and who consistently are the ones who do the most organizing and advocating for people in their communities and outside. We told you, get the bitch in office. Once you get her ass in office, we can run her ass dry for everything that we fucking need, and we gonna be able to possibly take her down. That's what we said, and you decided to tell us to shut the fuck up. You decided to display anti-blackness, and now you're sitting on the internet fucking crying, and you got your goddamn token ass friends coming at us talking about we're not doing our due diligence as black Americans. I am at it with y'all. Shut up. You are not going to keep placing the blame on black people and the responsibility on black people who have thoroughly, historically, and currently done their most efforts and due diligence to protect not only their fucking kids, but for everybody in this goddamn country. Our resumes is hella long and it is hella viable. Enough. You are not going to constantly put this narrative on us. You are not going to not take accountability and responsibility for the communities that actually did what they're going to do. You are not going to constantly tell black people, oh, stop blaming the Latinx community. Why are you not blaming white people for their voices? Why the fuck would I blame white people for voting within their best interest? Bitch, it was you. Let's talk about the colorism and the xenophobia that was displayed within the Latinx community. You all decided not to vote within your best interest because you no longer wanted extra immigrants from Venezuela and Argentina to come into America. You are fucking immigrants yourself. Your parents are fucking immigrants yourself. You just got off the fucking plane not too long ago, and you decided that it was worth putting your safety and your health at risk just to block other people from getting over here into this land and experiencing a better life. You have the nerve and the audacity to sit there and think that somebody else should play a shield for you? Black women have never been ignorant and unaware of the harm that was going to come our way for putting that goddamn Frosty Cheeto back into the office. You were. You had no plans. You've done nothing. You've had nothing to do, but you sit on this fucking internet and cry and think that our black educators should sit there and protect your children. If it was a bunch of black children that was being harmed in school systems and going missing, you would sit there and tell us that you were just complying with the fucking law. Stop talking to me and the rest of the black women about this. The struggles in this land and slavery and all that you're trying to tell us, well, if they get harmed first, they're coming for you next. We knew that, bitch, because the harm never stopped coming for us. It is outlandish for you to believe that we were that obtuse into knowing that the harm against the black community was going to be next in line. Nigga, it never stopped being first in line, quite frankly. It is only on paper that they decided to put on a stamp and through a pen ink that we have been seen as legally free for 59 motherfucking years. My parents are older than 59 years old. My grandmother is 84 years old. My grandmother that just recently passed died at 92 years old. I don't want to hear shit. We all know that the institutions of racism, all they did was just rename them and reroute them, that they never actually stopped. We are still slaves within this goddamn land. We just don't have the physical chains to show everybody, and we can't be unalived or strung up from a fucking tree. Do not talk to me like I am a damn buffoon and I don't understand the dangers of what's happening to you and what can happen next to me. Bitch, you didn't care about the dangers that was happening to my son. You didn't give a fuck about what was going to happen to me every single goddamn day when I walked out my damn door. You were selfish. You are a mindless bot. You were disrespectful. You were anti-black. And now you are on the first one on the chopping block, and you are going to have to pay some consequences for your decisions. You are going to stop getting on this internet discussing accountability with a bunch of black women over some goddamn wigs, weaves, lashes, and nails, and you won't be accountable for your goddamn community's choices. Black women are out here being arrested, yelling solidarity to the death of me, and a bunch of goddamn white liberals and Hispanic communities is watching her and recording her being arrested. You want it to be a revolutionary right there? Well, here is your time to shine right now. Put something in order. Put a play in order. Show me the strategy. Give me the fucking plan. Put the layout in. And I stand behind you. But what you're not going to do is convince us to constantly stand outside like all them goddamn POCs is not going to run behind us like we some goddamn target practices shields. I'm not the proof. I'm not Superman or Supergirl. Find somebody else to do it. And you know, sis, that's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the worst part about this situation. Like, we come literally from a group of people that said, I'm willing to unalive and go down fighting for my fucking people. That's the blood that's literally running through our veins. That's our ancestry. Whether you a black American person like myself, or even if you are a Caribbean American person or a fucking African, that's the blood that runs through our veins. We have an ancestry of people, a lineage of people that was willing to literally be sacrificial for one another. Literally, they said, I'll go down if it means helping some other one of my people get to freedom, carry the lineage, carry the culture, speak out, be voices for us, because we're not going to all possibly make it. And that's not how these people are coming and coded. They're coming, sitting there talking about save me, and literally not paying any mind to us. I know it sounds silly, but literally this is what Sinners was just depicting. Like, and so many people still overglaze the fucking message. Yes, it was about stop inviting people to the cookout, and it may sound silly. People would probably say it's just a movie, but art is a depiction of life. That specific art was a depiction of not only current life, but also history. Those people, all of those black people in that barn was willing to go out on the line for Sammy. They said, carry your gift. Sing your music. Do not go down. He's a kid. He deserves better. They fought to protect each other. They fought to protect Sammy. They was not about to go out there and say, give him to you, you on your own. His cousins fought for him. Them women, Pearline, sacrificed herself for him. Even Delroy Linda literally helped his people and said, you know what? I'm old. I've lived my life. It is what it is. He cut himself in his arms just so the savages can have something to feast, so that they can fight a little bit easier and then have a bunch of them on their backs. You get what I'm saying? But look at the person that wasn't black. Look at the person that's there. Come on in. It didn't matter. She didn't give a fuck. Every black person in that barn lost their life. That entire community is damn near done and unalived and raided through, because she decided to say, I don't give a fuck about what's going to happen to y'all. And those people said, we family. We got you. You won't be all right. You really think that if they didn't stay out till the morning, they wouldn't have found a way, a strategy to protect her and her daughter? They probably would have found any way to get her out of there. Hell, they probably would have no longer even been in work, because his focus was Sammy. And this is what I'm saying. They're not coming with that energy for us. They're coming in here looking at us like, well, this is what you do. You should be okay with being in a fight and flight mode for everybody to fuck else 24/7. Excuse me? Black women's bodies are literally being scoped out right now on the line. That lady Adriana, if her body is able to produce a functional baby, regardless of health issues or not, and that baby doesn't immediately pass away once it is forced birth out of her, do you know what is about to happen to black women? The level of scare for us to even go into the emergency room, because we are seen now as viable experiments, plants, animals that they can work on. Our bodies is going to be seen as so strong that they will probably try to implant things for their population, or just force us to birth more children just to have more goddamn slave labor. This is what we are up against right now. Black men are coming up missing, and their unalivings are being written down as suicides right now, and they're hanging from a damn oak tree. Twins is going missing. Carmelo Anthony is being dictated and being seen as being premeditated unaliver after being viciously attacked for a racist attack and bigoted child for no apparent reason. And you sitting here talking to me about this? You're not even having any conversation about how the actions and your choices of the vote that you did in November has caused chaos for everybody. How many millions of people is getting ready to not have health insurance? How many hospitals is possibly going to shut down? How many elderly people is going to be trying to take care of the elderly and having bills to pay to try to get the medications for their family? How many people are not going to be able, more medical bias is going to happen, more hospitals are going to shut down, more people are going to leave the health industry from being stressed out and overworked, more people are going to be ignored. We're going to have to try to find ways to just survive off the land of a chemical jacked up piece of land anymore. Do you know how that's going to harm the population that's already being ignored and told that we ain't never in pain? You ain't saying nothing about none of these situations. You sitting here telling you about your deportation, and it's not to say that it is matter, but everything else that is happening and going on, and you sitting there looking at us like, so, but what about me? No. If I'm going to go down fighting, if I'm going to have to do everything in my body, I'm going to reserve and conserve my energy. I'm going to encourage all of my people to reserve and conserve their energy. Get their tools up. Educate yourself. Be prepared to go out there and shed something for one another. It is my responsibility to care about my community, my culture, my lineage, and to be around here to try to raise my child as long as possible, and to be around here to take care of my spouse and be each other's support system for as long as possible. It ain't to be a sacrificial lamb for a bunch of people that want to sit on the internet and argue and tell me that they should have the right to say nigga 24/7. Oh my God, they heat me. Child, they heat me. They heat me.
Hey guys, I've been seeing a lot of Latinos and Hispanics videos popping up, and they're in tears, they're fearful, they're in panic mode, and it's sad to see. And it's even sadder when you know they voted this in upon themselves, and now they're reaping the repercussions, and now they're coming out crying and pleading, and there's nothing anybody can do right now. He's even boosted this thing up because they weren't picking up enough people. So now he's just telling them to pick up any and everybody. If you notice, they're not going to bad areas of towns or bad areas of cities and going into the gang infested communities. They're not going to those communities. They're not going looking, hanging out on who's hanging out on the corners or hanging around certain establishments or whatever. No, they're going to workplaces. They're going to courts. They're going to communities where families are there. They're going to graduations. Yeah, they went to elementary school graduation and started trying to pick up the parents of the kids who were graduating. They were saying the parents had to run and leave their kids because they had to flee. So now, because they haven't deported as many people as Biden did legally, now they want to ramp up, and they're telling them just pick up anybody. So they're going in neighborhoods. They're going in, like I said, they're going on job sites, Home Depot. Where are the criminals? What criminal do you know is on a job site? The criminals that they said they were going to be deported, the hardcore criminals. What criminal do you know is on a job site? What criminal do you know is going to court? And now you guys are up. Excuse my French. I'm not going to even say it. Y'all up the creek without a paddle. And it's nothing anybody can do, because he has a stick up his butt about this particular topic. And because y'all gave him the ammo, he's blowing y'all away. Y'all were begged not to vote for this man. You were pleaded with to do not put this man in office. You were reasoned with, you were educated as to why. We didn't just say don't do it. We were telling you the reasons not to do it. But you didn't want to hear that from us. Y'all didn't want to hear one word came out of y'all mouth. You were so arrogant on this social media. One guy was on here hollering out he was going to make it his business to make sure that loses, and was referring to Kamala Harris. So y'all were out here verbally, very boastfully, verbally letting us know what your agenda was, what your intention was, but you got it. He got in office, Kamala Harris did. Now look. Look. LA is almost on fire. They're picking up people who are actually citizens that were born here because y'all voted for this. They're terrorizing your communities now because y'all voted for this. They're showing up at the courts hearing where you're trying to go become illegal, to become legal citizens. They're coming there and snatching y'all as soon as you come out the court room because y'all voted for this. Everything I say they're doing now, I could finish with because y'all voted for this. And now that the chickens have come home to roost, there's nothing anybody can do right now. Because as you can see, the more protesters come out, the more deranged he gets. Pete Hegseth has said that he wants to release the Marines. That's on top of the National Guards. Because y'all voted for this. Y'all had no idea that the people you were trusting were just salivating. They were salivating in the background, just saying, ooh, come on November 5th. Come on November. Come on November. Come on. I'm waiting. They were salivating, waiting for the day that they could unleash their true feelings. And now it's out there. And all the warnings, all the pleading, all the begging, all the educating, nothing. It came up with nothing. And now that it's biting you really, really hard, you're begging and pleading for people to come help. How are we going to come and help? What are we going to come and do? Tell us. Because the minute we come out there, what they're just starting to do now, with the tear gas and the rubber bullets, that's going to escalate to real bullets and who knows what else. It's too late. The time to ask for help was before the election. The time to plead for help was before you went into that booth. Help me go into that booth and make the most intelligent, the most prosperous vote I can make for me and my family. But y'all wanted to link up. Y'all wanted to link up with a whole other group of people. And you were willing to sacrifice everything. Everything. You guys have lost your businesses. You've lost your homes. You've lost your family. You've lost your freedom. And God forbid, some of y'all might even have lost your lives. The damage is done. The damage is done. The only saving grace that will be left for you is that Rockland, New York hand count comes back and shows complete fraud. And I bet you if that happens, I bet you every penny I got, all those reasons y'all didn't want Kamala Harris in there, all that disdain you have for Kamala Harris, all that disrespect, I bet you that flies out the window so damn fast. Because you know, when you see that woman come in that office, all this chaos cease. All this torture cease. All this mayhem cease. That y'all do know. Because you know why? Because you lived what we tried to tell you. But you weren't going to listen to us. You weren't going to take it. You had to experience it. So now that you're experiencing, hopefully when the time comes for you to make a decision like this again, hopefully you'll remember these days. Hopefully you'll remember these 100 and something days. And you'll reflect. And you'll do something different. You'll make intelligent decisions, not decisions based on feelings. Not decisions based on triggers. But decisions based on facts. So you don't sit up here and put you and your family in harm's way again. Hopefully, anyway. But praying that the best works out, the best outcome comes out. Praying for covering. And most importantly, praying from learning from this. Praying that somebody learns from this. I got to get out of here, but before I go, Latinos for Trump, Hispanics for Trump. Is this what you consider great again? My friend's still asking.
Some of you guys may not like this post. Okay, it has to be said. Having a platform gives me where I need to make a stand and say, and there's a lot going on with ICE right now, and I'm gonna say, you know, this may get muted because they love to mute my political videos, but we're gonna try. Some of you guys with the black and brown unity right now going on, I'm reading tons out there on threads and social media, and some of you guys say that this is not our fight. This isn't our fight. I just want you to pause and think that when ICE raids homes and when migrants are detained, if injustice anywhere is allowed, it becomes injustice everywhere. This ain't just about them, it's about all of us. It's about every single one of us. Black people have every single right to be exhausted and to be tired. They have carried centuries of protests and fighting for their rights. But I want you to ask yourself, who benefits when we are divided? Because white supremacy loves when we say that's their issue. Read history, really read history, and you'll find that they wanted to create division with us. Because then it doesn't have to fight unity. They want us scared. They want us quiet because they know that when black, brown, and indigenous people stand together, we're truly unstoppable, not just in marches, but in strategy and policy and power. And yes, we've been betrayed before. Yes, anti-blackness exists in immigrant communities. But healing doesn't happen in silence, and liberation won't come from watching another family be ripped apart and thinking, well, that's not my business. To say they should have voted, that there's certain Hispanic people that should have voted, or they should have voted differently, or whoever you want to say should have voted, shouldn't voted, done differently, all of that. You're not focusing that the system is really rigged and restricts those that are still restricts those that are allowed to vote. So you're assuming that everyone has the same access, and it blames the oppressed for their oppression. I'm just gonna pause on that. And it gives the real enemy a pass. When you say if we protest ICE, the police are gonna come for us, ask yourself, when have they ever not come for us? When have they ever not come for us? I don't care, black, brown, whatever. When have they not come for us? Solidarity won't make us more targeted. Silence just makes them bolder. Protesting ICE is protesting systems that believe cages are solutions. It's protesting state violence. It's protesting dehumanization. If we don't stand now, we teach the system how to treat us next. You don't have to be in the streets to be in the fight. You don't. Support organizers, share truth, sign petitions, use your voice, use your platform, because what they do to us today is what they will do to us tomorrow. That's it.
Which black people are you talking about that you say should stand with their brown brothers and sisters? Is it the black people that your daddies and your mommies tell you not to bring home? Is it those black people? Or is it the black, Latinos, and Hispanic people that y'all discriminate?
Hello, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you've watched the video and add the perspectives of everyone that you are talking about all these crazy things. People from the Latino community, for the longest time, black people and Latino, we have some intersectionality that we share with them. Both of us have undergone through suffering, but there's something unique in the Latino community, or generally the Hispanic community. We have the anti-blackness normally in the Latino community. So this is something that has been going on for a long time, but the approach that I used in this video is a little bit different. It's not the same approach. So this is what I want us to discuss now. Black communities in America possess a unique and powerful legacy of organized resistance. That's when you talk about protest and cultural influence. Now, remember the times of civil rights movements to Black Lives Matter. The struggles has really shaped the moral conscience of the nation and inspired movements around the globe. As such, when other marginalized groups face oppression, they instinctively look to black communities not only for numbers, but for the ability to generate visibility, moral outrage, and systemic pressure. However, Many black thinkers and activists have begun to question this pattern. They ask, why is the same energy when black people are disproportionately killed by police, face house discrimination, suffer from the underfunded schools, or experience mass incarceration? If unity is truly the goal, then it must be mutual and consistent, not just summoned when it suits others. The relationship shouldn't only be beneficial when it's benefiting you. It should be beneficial if also black folks are getting to benefit out of it. That being said, I'm also going to be talking about this issue that we're talking about is also compounded by the fact that many non-black communities, including the Latinos, have historically benefited from the very same systems that oppressed black people. For instance, certain individuals in the Latino communities are able to access whiteness, and it's true, culturally or phenotypically, and receive social and economic advantages that black individuals are routinely denied. This proximity to whiteness has at times led to anti-blackness within these communities, and this is something that I've been talking about. This is something that I've always tried to address in the video. Right now, even as they claim solidarity in times of shared struggle, it is not uncommon to hear anti-black rhetoric from members of the very group that later requires black support in protest efforts. This contradiction undermines the genuine coalition building and reveals the superficiality of some solidarity calls. It becomes clear that what is being requested is not just unity, it's justice, but the mobilization of black energy for non-black causes. That's the problem. That's how the problem starts. You need to really get to understand from where this problem comes from. Hi. Now, another key issue that I'm going to be talking about is the cultural appropriation and commodification of black identity by non-black groups. Now, let's talk about music, fashion, language, and activism. Elements of black culture are often adopted, repackaged, and then people profit from them without honoring the pain and history that produced them. That is what we call cultural appropriation. This cultural borrowing further reflects how black contributions are desired. Yet black people themselves are marginalized. In political spaces, this manifests as to call to action when it's convenient, followed by a retreat into silence of complicity when black communities cry out for justice. The asymmetry in support is glaring. Black people show up for the immigration rights, border issues, labor protests, but often find themselves alone when demanding reparations, ending police brutality, and dismantling an anti-black racism. When all these things have benefited other people. Let's talk about affirmative action. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about health, Americans' health. These are a couple of things that black folks have worked with placards. I've tried to talk to these people so that they can help while they can. But at the end of the day, when they have already achieved what they have achieved, they don't give a damn about black people. In fact, they forget. We also need to note that political movements that seek to include black people frequently fail to center or even acknowledge black-specific issues. Now, the Latinx-led protests may frame themselves as multicultural or inclusive, but the leadership, narratives, and goals are often overlooked the nuanced struggles of Afro-Latinos and black people in general. The absence of intersectionality, especially the understanding of how race, class, and immigration status overlap, leads to a superficial call for unity that lack depth or transformative power. Right? True solidarity will require acknowledging the specific histories and needs of black communities, allowing them to lead and invest in deliberation, not as a side note, but as a central aim. Right? Also, this is what black people must know. Black people must therefore be cautious and discerning when invited into coalitions, while cross-racial unity has the potential to challenge systemic power. It cannot be built on exploitation or convenience. Strategic alliances must be rooted in shared principles, mutual respect, and commitment to dismantling anti-blackness in its all forms. Black participation should be viewed as automatic or obligatory resources. It must be earned through consistent allyship, and demonstrated solidarity. If Latins or any other community wants Black support, they must also show up for Black causes, confront anti-Blackness within their own ranks, and honor Black leadership without co-opting or overshadowing it. So let me know what you think about this. I'm your host and presenter, Generic Stories. Well, I'm hoping that you're doing fine. Just a quick reminder for those who are watching us for the first time and you haven't subscribed to our channel. A lot of people are watching my videos, but I've noticed that you guys are not subscribing. Please, if you're watching my videos and finding values in the commentary that I'm always giving, kindly please subscribe the channel. You can support me through my Cash App. You can join my membership. You can send me super thanks. I'll be really grateful because you keep this channel growing. So let's keep the channel going. I'll be back with new videos, contemporary issues that are happening in the United States, and giving it historical perspectives, giving it my own perspectives and how I feel about them and the things that we need to address about this. But until then, I'm your host and presenter, Generic Stories. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.